I got you. Mic check 1 2. Mic check 1 2. All right, my name's Codie Gopher. That's CODIEGOPHER. Co-founder of Slow Motion Sounds. Up under that, you got affiliates, the Block Beaters, G-Side, 03rd, the homies Alabama Hustle. You know what I'm saying? Over in Florence. So just a North Alabama mover, shaker, ambassador, taxpayer. You know, so growing up, music, you know, we black. Music is part of us. You know, so I was the little kid that mama and them may come perform in front of their friends, you know, at the card games and stuff like that. But grew up in the '90s, and so that light mic narrative was out there. So like I said, I thought I was gonna go play basketball, play for one of the better teams in North Alabama. But during that time, you know, my cousin them Tam had a group, IWO and Melodrama. My cousin Zanzi had a label called Lavish Records that put out that po' boy record. I kind of like street team for that a little bit, but I really didn't get into music for myself until after high school. And that's when we hooked up with my boy Corey Parham, Fidel Smith, Jeff Chapman, and we started a group called 3C, which was like Third Coast. You know, so we did that for about 2 years, from '98 to 2000, and you know, recreated ourselves under the moniker Slow Motion Sounds. And so it's been slow motion for the past 25 years. We was like a southern version of the Wu-Tang out of Huntsville. It was a lot of us, you know, but we was all rapping. And then this young kid named James Hunter, AKA Mater, came through, and I put my notebook down when I seen how dope he was. And so we kind of changed the group to Slow Motion. And it was at that time, you know, I picked up the behind the scenes, the marketing, the A&R, and research and development. So, you know, so back during this time, you had No Limits and Rap-A-Lots, and our collective was Slow Motion Sounds. The name come from where we from. You know, a lot of people thought it was that Texas energy, but Huntsville really is, at that time, was a slower paced city. You know, and it was just a vibe that you would have to come to and see, and the music that we was creating kind of was just like that soundtrack that married up to that. But in the beginning, we were just some guys that was just trying to get the music out there. Lo and behold, we had a guy named Albert Bush, Al B, who was with us. And Al B was Rap-A-Lot's first group, Royal Flush. You deal what I'm saying? And so he ends up in Huntsville. And so he comes to the group, and we recruit him in, and he's bringing us all this behind the scenes and how to get your publishing, and you know where to get the CDs pressed up at. So we came into the game with somebody who had been there, and so I kind of went up under his wing and learned the game from Big Bro. You know what I'm saying? And we dropped the first album, which was Mater, LIFE, living in an effed up environment, and it did well. And so we made you know, slanging out the trunk, and we started working on the second album, which ended up being the VSOP, the VO Style of Pimping. And by this time, you know, I don't know how other groups in the industry or in the creative space, how it went for them, but by our second album, we brought in this new artist by the name of T.I. You know what I'm saying? So we get Tip on the record called Lax and Capricious. It was between him and Bun B. And Bun at the time was a little more expensive than what we could pay, so we ended up getting Tip, and that song ended up making it to BET Uncut. You know, within 4 years of the Slow Motion umbrella, we had already made it to BET. And we also came in that space of e-commerce. So, of course, you had your Sam Goodies, your Camelot Records, the places that you can go do consignment. But we kind of bypassed all of that in the very beginning now and went straight to e-commerce. And so we selling records to Paris, we selling records to Germany, we selling records to the East Coast and West Coast. We working message boards. You know, every home starts to get a computer in the house, and so we kind of hit right at that time. E-commerce, computers, this new way of marketing, And so that's what slow motion sounds was. You know, if we was a few years before, we would have been them out the trunk slangers, now, which we did. But our claim to fame was coming from Alabama and entering into this internet e-commerce game, which a lot of people don't understand fits the demeanor of Huntsville, Alabama, which is a tech city. So when we was able to, you know, do what we was doing fresh out the gate, it was just a mirror reflection of the city that we was in. A lot of the guys that was in slow motion at that time are now engineers. You know what I'm saying? You know, 25 years later, you know, music don't last forever, but a lot of the guys are engineers. I myself work closely with engineers doing tech writing. So it's still the writing and the creative space around engineers. And a lot of people don't understand being in that music space really correlates with a lot of different industries, you know what I'm saying, especially as you get older. So as time went on, a lot of those people that you say was probably tearing them computers apart and putting in RAM and this, then the third, man, they working on new spacecraft going to space right now, right here in Alabama. I went to the military. Huntsville is a military city, so I was able to join the military and travel the world a little bit. So I did about 8 years in the military. And it was at that time, you know, we doing the music, but I'm taking the music with me. So I'm around people from Houston, people from Florida, and one of the key things in hip hop is where you from. So you gotta know where you from, you gotta understand it, you gotta, like you say, advocate, you gotta teach people and champion that area. So right out the gate, I'm in the military, still getting the music from the region, and I'm the first POC that people are getting outside of the region. And so I'm introducing them to Huntsville and North Alabama and Alabama music by giving them a record. So records open up a lot of lines of communication, a lot of lifelong friendships, but the way to explain where I was from without pulling out an encyclopedia at the time was just to give them a record. So seeing what that did to people on the outside of the, you know, outside of the area, when I made it back home, a lot of people had never experienced it. So that's where my advocacy for this area and just creators came from, to let them know, hey, it's people that's on the outside that appreciate what we're doing. And so it went from that to understanding what we were missing as far as resources, making what we do valid, you know, because we do hip hop, we are hip hop, and sometimes it gets a bad rep. So we had to express and, you know, knock down a lot of doors, build some solid relationships. But now you see the value in this culture. It's now 50 years old. It's not a little kid culture no more. So, you know, being here speaking about this, I'm not no little kid trying to get no record deal. When I go to the city council meetings and I'm speaking about hip hop and art and culture, I'm not no little child. I'm a granddad. You dig what I'm saying? So I'm speaking from a granddad perspective about this now, and I've seen how many lives this has saved. So when you see all of that gumbo of success, that gumbo of people being DIY, making something from nothing, taking that blank canvas and making it a work of art, at this point in time, why would we not do that? You know, I always tell people, you know, you can either go get this over here or you come get some of this seasoned food. And I just feel like what we create is that seasoned food. And if you don't let people know that it's here, they'll never know. So, but no, we've been on the biggest stages, from South by Southwest to Fader magazine. Like when we went to Fader, everybody else went to Fader. So a lot of things that people don't understand, like we were there. This you know, Party Like a Rock Star was produced by Jason Pittman in Huntsville, Alabama. The record that T.I. and my mans did, the Ain't I, produced by Ben Frank from Huntsville, Alabama. You got Spanky Alford, who worked with Dilla, The Roots, Tupac. And so when people say that we haven't made it and we ain't been there, I have to disagree. You know, when people speak about putting this place on the map, I have to walk away from that, because when you look at the liner notes, when you really understand the DNA of what makes a record and how much this place has been a part of it, there's nothing to be ashamed about. You should only advocate for it because it's success. You know, it is something that wasn't there yesterday, And those creations to me parallel with the Space and Rocket Center, things of that nature. Because after people go to work, they want to listen to something, be a part of the culture, get some good food, and that's just who we are. Like we are those people. We are those people, and we're going to continue to be those people. Uh, and just for me personally, being one of the behind the scenes people in the game, I feel like I'm one of the best. When it's all said and done, I don't think there's nobody else that's done it the way I've done it. Blue collar style. You know what I mean? I ain't going out my way to be nothing that I ain't. I'm a fan of the people that I'm around, and so once it's all said and done, I don't think it'll be another Codie Gopher. You know what I mean? I ain't trying to cap or I'm being as humble as possible, but the proof is in the pudding. I just don't think, from day one to understanding the culture, to now understanding that this needs to be placed in our school systems, to where this could possibly save lives just from kids having the space to create. I feel like I've been a part of a lot of it. And I'm at the point now to understand that the identity that this brings because of what it's done for me. You know what I'm saying? So just 25, 27 years in it, is I want to cuss like we the ish, you know what I mean?